love Whirlwind, actually. I think Whirlwind Whirlwind is really one of those staple 4-player maps now, I feel. It's one that pretty much everybody feels fairly comfortable on. We've all played it a lot. Let's get that game music going back once again. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the Coffee Cast Amateur Attack Edition, where I pull in 2 nooblets from the audience and pit them against one another for my own sick entertainment. On the top right-hand side, he is going to be our pink Protoss hero. It is going to be Jooshy in that 2 o'clock position of Whirlwind. And he's doing some little funny probe micro tricks, trying to get 2 on each mineral patch. On the top left-hand side, he is, I believe, I was told before the game started, a 7-times Masters player from Europe. It is going to be HotS as the red Terran player. And just like I was saying earlier, guys, I obviously am not set up. I'm still on my laddering statistics here. And if the game sounded a little bit too loud, you guys just let me know, and I will take care of it. I forgot to hit accept. Gosh dang it. Oh, goodness gracious. Damaged only. There we go. Well, PvT, Whirlwind, we are going to be spawning technically close by ground, but I would call this really anything but close by ground. It is still a very, very long rush distance to get all the way over to your opponent's base. I'm pretty interested. PvT is probably one of the more open matchups right now. There is a little bit of airplay on the Protoss side of things, including the Phoenix Colossus play that we've been seeing players like Minigun do. I know Day9 recently did a daily. I think we saw it once or twice in WCF's Korea as well, though I could not quite name the players off the top of my head. So we have the Phoenix Colossus. We just have your standard Colossus into 3-base Templar, very nice and suave. We have 4-gate fast 1-1 into fast 2-2, and then just getting lots and lots of upgrades. Welcome back, Mangu, over in the chat there. So, I mean, on the Protoss side of things, we're quite wide open. Terran side of things, pretty much just as wide open. You can, as always, open up Bio. Mines allow you to do that bio mine. You can do bio mech. The siege tank's getting a little bit better for earlier mid-game pushes. Banshees we've been seeing come back a little bit, but not too much in PvT. I would be a little bit surprised to see them here. But, I mean, we're seeing them a little bit more in the higher levels of play, and I think eventually it will trickle over towards PvT, but for the moment at least, Protoss players generally still opening up with robotics, which makes the Banshee a little bit less viable. Both players, according to Murphy's Law, are going to be scouting into the wrong areas to start out, of course. In fact, they went, I mean, pretty much as far away as they possibly could from each other before, finally kind of going, oh my gosh, every time, and sending their scouting units to the correct places. Around Jooshy's side of the map, we actually have double saturated gas here. So going to be teching up, at least dropping down a Robo or a Twilight Council of some sort before laying down that expansion, I feel. Otherwise, there's really no point in getting that really fast second gas and putting all 6 for the 2 gas guys, which generally you'll see 2 and 2. And that would just indicate a Mothership Core and a Stalker. Probe is going to get in here, and apparently HotS has not scouted out his opponent yet. He did not quite know. Getting that wall up just in time, going to disallow the probe from getting inside, where he would have seen that there was no gas, which would have given him a little bit ease of mind. And actually, it looks like it is going to be a 1-gate expansion out of Jooshy, beginning to accumulate quite a bit of gas. This is kind of why I don't necessarily like getting both gas guys just fully saturated early on. So there's just really no way to spend it all. Oh man, excuse me, I apologize. Give me one moment, please, folks. Oh, I apologize about that. As I was saying, there's just a little bit extra gas banked up here, and he really doesn't have any really good way to spend that at the moment. I assume a robotics is going to be next. Yes, it is. Going to be a robotics. Should probably, I don't know, might use that extra gas that he got earlier on to get 3 sentries out and then go into that Colossus play. It's probably the most standard thing we're seing. Will that SCV? Oh, yeah. The SCV at least saw the buildings here, and he can probably... The building's smaller than a gateway warping in, so he probably does know that that is a robotics facility coming onto the field for Jooshy. Over on the hot side of things, we did open up with just the standard 1 racks expansion, got the second racks down, now going up to 3 racks. We'll probably be dropping the factory soon. Stim pack will be on the way in a moment. Pretty much everything looking fairly standard for HotS. Gonna obviously being delaying that factory just a little bit to get the stim pack up and running just a little bit quicker. And I agree, the Terran music is the best. The ambience of the Protoss. I'm gonna be honest. The music for Brood War, I really feel was the best music. I don't like the StarCraft 2 music quite as much as the Brood War music. This one Marine, oh, he's just a little bit away. That's kind of unfortunate for HotS, because if he'd had that Marine out just a little bit further, he could have rallied out a few more Marines and taken out that Mothership Core, or at least forced it to use a recall, which uses up quite a bit of energy. It would have been a nice little pickup. Instead, the Mothership Core going to be running around the south side, getting into the main base here on Whirlwind, and pretty much not seeing anything too unusual. He's going to see everything pretty standard. I don't even think he's going to be able to get that SV kill. Nope. Immediately, the Marines are pulled back. This Mothership Core actually came very, very far in here. He needs to get out of here. I don't know what she's doing running around still, but the Marines are on the way. And I think they're going to be able to get a couple pot shots off. No, not even going to get that. Oh, needs to be careful not to accidentally take too many shots on that. But it looks like Jooshy controlling that fairly well is going to get that right on out of there. He does have that robotics bay finishing up in just a couple of moments. And you know what? I suppose I take back what I said towards the beginning of the game. He's going to have just enough gas to get one Colossus and extended thermal lance very quickly. So I don't know if that was purposeful or not. I'm going to go out on a limb. I know Jooshy was a pretty high diamond player. That probably was very purposeful, and I can only imagine that's going to be extended thermal lance. Maybe this Mothership Core is still getting harassed a little bit by this one Marine. She needs a restraining order, is what I think right about now. And I'm sorry, I'm still just watching this production tab. He's accumulating a lot of gas. I want to see him use that fairly shortly here. A couple of additional gateways being thrown down now. This is pretty much as good of timing as you're going to get on these additional gateways. They'll be done in just about 1 minute here, just a little bit before that drop timing would really start kicking in, when you want those extra warp gates to be able to defend at the back while trying to use your army to defend at the front as well. Almost 600 gas accumulating now for Jooshy. And extended thermal lance could be halfway, 3/4 the way done at this point in time while he's moving out, which would mean that about the time that he would be hitting, he would be really doing a lot of damage. I mean, that extended thermal lance would be finishing up. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, but HotS just has so much more on the field right now, and I'm going to give that partially in credit because he's just had so many more minerals out on the map with the mules and having less gas. The Marines and Marauders are pushing out. Stimpack has finished up. No combat shields, though. Concussive shields not done yet either, but it doesn't even matter. HotS pushing forward, immediately just tearing apart Jooshy's army. The Colossus going to fall. And while HotS, lost most of his Bioforce, pretty much all the big units, the Mothership Core getting down to 10-5. It is not going to die. It is going to live with just 5 health left, and that was a major relief for Jooshy there. If he had lost that, he would have been, I feel, in a lot of trouble. Back on the production tab, we have Vikings coming on the field. The bio production going to continue. The first 2 medevacs, if those had only been done for that engagement, I feel that would have gone even more into HotS' favor. That being said, he has the Harvester lead. He also has, well, he has a slight upgrade lead for the moment. He does have his Stimpack done. His level 1 weapon started a little bit earlier too, but with Chrono Boost, the armor probably going to be finishing up at a fairly similar time. It looks like Blink is going to be the choice upgrade from that Twilight Council. And this is something we've been seeing a little bit more often in the higher leagues, Blink, just high soccer numbers in general, but I think in this case it's going to be used to protect the Colossus from the Viking follies. In the meantime, we're getting the Templar Archives as well, which is normally all great and fun and well, but he lost that first Colossus. And now he's going to, now he's going to be taking the second base, but losing that first Colossus makes the transition a lot weaker, I feel, just because you lose a lot of that AoE damage. Over on the hot side of the map, he's going to be able to take out that forward pylon. Viking production, it looks like it halted after 2, and 2 Vikings, really not all that much of a threat, I feel, to the Colossus. He's going to be taking his third base. In fact, his third base already done. The third base of Jooshy not even started yet, so the economic advantage continuing to go into HotS' favor. But with that economic advantage, we can see, he has the Harvester lead, which is thinning a little bit, but now 3 mules worth of command centers and triple STV production starting up. But that means that Jooshy's army is deceptively close to HotS's. The supply difference, not always the biggest deal in the world in this case, but, that medevac, 2 Marauders, 4 Marines is about as classy as you can get. That Phoenix is going to scout it out. Is there going to be a reaction? I don't think he noticed it. I don't think Jooshy noticed it. The High Templar not going to be able to be in position. But there we go. Reinforcing Stalker is going to be warped in. The medevac going to be taken down. A Stalker might die. Yeah, 1 Stalker dies. But really, that was fairly well defended by Jooshy, who's just saving up that energy on these High Templars. Storm is just about complete, and he's going to need that for this next engagement here. And that should be done by the time this Bioforce does get out across the map. 2 medevacs are over here. Do I see a third one? I do not. But there are 4 Vikings, which is a pretty good number. Maybe 6 might be a slightly better number for this, for just 1 Colossus. just take it down really fast before he gets any volleys in. But I think 4 is also a fairly decent number. I mean, you don't want to overcommit to Vikings when there's a big tech switch coming up. And it looks like HotS actually does not feel confident. He hit the stim forward. Will he be able to pick off a couple of stalkers? And oh man, this bio army, I feel, oh, getting 1 sentry there, getting 2 sentries. That's a lot of gas gone in. These forces even going to get out. That was actually a great pickup for HotS right there, getting 2 sentries, I believe 2 stalkers, and right there, that's what, 300 gas for just a couple of buy units that are now going to get healed up by the medevacs. Yeah, I think that went pretty well for HotS at the end of that engagement there. HotS has now seen the third base of Jooshy, which is a nice little bit of scouting information. Third base is presumed to be taken now that the gas is over there. That one Marine, he's going to be cleaned up fairly quickly. The gas is over here. Well, you know, I guess I really don't feel like the gases are the big deal because we do still have quite a bit of gas in the bank. It looks like he got that extra gas early and just never quite found the way to spend it. Now going to be going into Archon Tech. That'll spend that gas pretty darn quickly, I would say. In the Archon Colossus, we have the Warp Prism. I love the Warp Prism play coming out of Jooshy, who needs to do, I feel, a little bit of damage at some point in time. And, oh, wow, this is a pretty darn bold expansion up at that 12 o'clock position. It is going to be a planetary fortress with a couple of missile turrets, but that is still very, very close to his opponent in Jooshy. Jooshy actually now sees this. He's going to take out the Marine up here at this northern base for himself. And I don't know if he's going to be going up to engage us. Yes, he is. That Planetary Fortress will be complete in time. Planetary Fortress, as we know, a very, very resilient building. Not much over here to defend it. Here comes the Bio and the Vikings, though. Are there going to be... Oh, a great storm on that ramp. Going to absolutely just slaughter that Viking line. But the Colossus already all dead. With the storms a little bit too little, too late. The Bio has degraded quite a bit. The Charizard moving forward. But it looks like Jooshy's army has now evaporated. But the 4th base is gone. In the meantime, there is a back in the 3rd base of Jooshy, and this is not going to be defended. The medevac very low on health. The cannons did do a little bit of work on it, but there's just not that much left on the map for Jooshy to defend it. It looked like it's going to be an Archon and 3 Stalkers. 70 versus 101 supply. There was a drop over in the natural expansion of HotS as well. That Warp Prism still making his rounds, but that's going to be cleaned up by the Vikings. Archon and a couple of Blink Stalkers going to be able to take out the Bio forces over at Jooshy's 3rd base. But now Jooshy looking to be in a very, very difficult position, down by nearly half the supply. The upgrades favoring HotS quite well, actually. 2-2 to just the 2 armor of Jooshy. Looks like HotS has chosen that was a pretty decent time to move out across the map. He is going to be taking this watchtower real fast, just scout around, see if he can pick up anything for free out here, but not quite. But, you know, I really don't feel like he needs to pick up anything for free. He can actually, if he swings down to the south and comes in through the south side, which it looks like that is going to be his choice maneuver, I think that he can pick off this 3rd base very quickly, and that's going to put Jooshy in a very difficult position as his main getting very close to mining out. He needs this 3rd base, but in the meantime, Jooshy moving out as well. Where are the Storm Templar that are going to be most effective on the ramp? Right here. They're out kind of towards the 4th base, and it looks like Jooshy, oh, you're going to be in a lot of trouble here. No photon overcharge over here at this Nexus. In fact, no Mothership Core even on the map quite yet. The Vikings, they're scouting out for the Colossus. The 3rd base falls. Jooshy's economy is going to be in a lot of trouble, but I don't even know if he can clean up this one single engagement. A couple of storms do go down on top of the Marauders, but they soak those storms up like the champions they are. My goodness, I cannot get control of my mouse here. And it looks like HotS positioning himself outside the natural expansion of Jooshy. One storm goes down and pisted a little bit there. Some Bio forces pushing forward, and it looks like this might be the time to go. There are 6, 7, 8 Vikings perhaps wailing away at the Colossus. The Bio forces deciding to clump up and try to charge up this ramp, and I think they are going to get there. 163 to 45 supply, and Jooshy GG's out. HotS is winner number 1 for Amateur Attack tonight.